Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to be sharing what I have just bought from Tesco in my weekly food shop. This food shop cost me £150, which I feel is a lot. I meal planned and I looked through my cupboards to see what I already had to try and utilise things that were already in there to make my food shop cheaper, but it was still £150. I used to be able to do a food shop for between £80 and £100, and I feel like because I do meal plan and I am quite careful when I then go online to shop and I don't add any extras into my basket, I don't understand why my food shop now has crept up by so much. I think it's just because everything in general has gone up so much, which is quite upsetting. But anyway, I really hope you find this video useful. I'm not going to show you the end result of each meal as I go through and talk through them. I hope the way I explain them is going to kind of give you an idea of how they'll turn out. But I will be sharing quite a few of these recipes on my channel in the coming weeks and over on my Instagram. So I'll link my Instagram here so you can go and give me a follow, because I share lots of meal inspiration ideas over there. So I really hope you enjoy this video and you enjoy my recipe ideas over on Instagram too. So what I'm just going to do now is turn the camera around and take you through, like I said, breakfast, lunch and our 7 dinners that we have got for this week. All right, so here is everything that I have got for breakfast. So I'm not brand fussy. So as you can see, I have got wheat biscuits instead of Weetabix today because they were a lot cheaper than Weetabix. But quite often the brands do have very good deals on, and then that's when I'll choose the brand over the non-branded. So I have got some Tiger Loaf. The boys absolutely love this bread. But I've also, this was actually a substitute, I've got some sourdough as well. So what I like to do is I keep one of each of these out in the cupboard, and then I put one of each of these in the freezer as well, so it lasts us for the whole week. I've got normal milk, oat milk, I've got some New York Bakery bagels, they're the best. I've got some porridge oats, pate, eggs, bananas, an avocado, and then I've got a big peanut butter because we've run out. So this has like pushed my shopping bill up, because I think that's about £6.50 for this big tub, but it lasts for weeks upon weeks. And then I have also got some frozen fruit too. The boys absolutely love making smoothies. They just put some frozen fruit and some milk in the blender with some honey, and then that's what they have for their breakfast or as a snack or anything like that. Oh, they also like to include a banana in there as well. Really, really delicious. And when they come home from school, it is like the kind of perfect snack for them. Here is everything I have got for lunch. So as the kids are back to school, I like to, well, they do buy some of their lunch at school, like they'll buy a little sandwich or something, but then they also go in with their own crisps, and then I like to give them a piece of fruit or some cut up cucumber, or I also have these berries for them. So I've got some strawberries, some raspberries and some blueberries. And then what I have got for Chris and I when we work from home is some pita breads. This is so, so nice. If you toast a pita bread and then you cut it in half and then you open up the pocket and you put in some mayo, some ham and then some rocket, it is honestly delicious. So, so good. You can pop some cheese in as well if you like. And then I've also got some chorizo and some baby tomatoes as well, because these are great, like just fried up and then popped onto toast. I think I shared this recipe with you guys last week. But then I've also obviously got some cheese, like I said, so that I can make some cheese on toast or anything like that with all the bread that I showed you just now. Right, so this meal is going to become a beef stew. I feel like now that the weather is turning a little bit, well, actually next week's meant to be really, really warm, but now it's going to start going into the cooler evenings. I absolutely love a beef stew. So I've got quite a few of these products that I need for this recipe already at home. But what I have got in addition, I'm actually going to be sharing this as a Sunday meal in a couple of weeks' time. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, because it is a real good one. But I have got some diced beef here. I've got some Worcestershire sauce. I've got celery, potatoes and carrots. And then I can use some of these items in other recipes as well. But what I am going to be using that I've already got is obviously the Tiger Loaf, which I showed you, because the Tiger Loaf is going to dunk into the sauce of this when it's cooked. I'm also going to be using an onion, which I've already got. I've got some beef stock. I've just got loads and loads of other things that are going to go into here that are kind of staples that I have in my cupboards all the time. I've got some corn flour, bits and bobs like that, that I wouldn't necessarily get in every single shop because I buy them once and then they last me a good few months. But this meal is going to become a delicious and hearty beef stew. This here is 2 meals. I'm just going to be using the chicken for both. So I bought a big 900 grams of chicken here, so I could just literally use 450 for one meal and 450 grams for the other meal. So what I've got here is going to become a chicken Thai green curry. So whenever I make a curry paste, I'll actually link this down below how I make my paste, because I've done a video on how I make all of my curry paste. This is a Thai green curry paste, and when I make it, I always batch cook it. So this, well, batch prepare it. So this was like 3 meals worth, and I just separated them into different containers. And then what I've got here is I've made some bone broth from chickens. When I did my roasted chicken, I just removed the bones and then pop them into a pot, and then I just boil them away for a good few hours, and then you're left with this delicious, really healthy stock. So I've got this, and then I bought some coconut milk, some baby corn, some beans, and then I've obviously got my chicken as well. So that's going to make a really delicious Thai green curry. The rice I have already got because I bulk buy that, so I have loads and loads of rice in my cupboards that I can use. Then over here, I'm going to be making some fajitas, but instead of using the traditional wraps, I've got these really nice Greek style flatbreads instead. So with the remaining chicken, I will just fry that off, and then I've already got a onion that I will use for this, but then I will probably use 2 of these peppers. So I'll use 1 yellow and 1 red, and just slice the chicken up and make it kind of usual fajita style. And then with some of the potatoes that I just showed you in the previous meal, I'll make some wedges on the side here too. Oh, forgot to show you actually. I bought some tzatziki. We really like sour cream in the fajitas are delicious, but tzatziki just takes it to a whole nother level. So this is 2 more of our meals this week. This meal is going to be super simple, and it's just going to be a stir fry. So I do like to try and introduce a couple of vegetarian meals into our weekly shop, just basically to keep the food bill kind of down a little bit, because I find it is the meat that makes it more expensive. So for this, I've just got some egg noodles. I'm going to be using the other pepper that I didn't use for my fajitas. I'll be using maybe half of this broccoli head, and then I bought a teriyaki sauce here as well. I do try sometimes to make my own, but they never taste as good as the shop bought ones. And then obviously I'll use some of the carrots that I showed you from our lunch pile, and I will also be using an onion that I already have here as well. So this is going to be a really delicious but super simple 10-minute meal that is meat free. Right, so this is going to actually become 2 meals. So what I've got here, I got this out of the freezer because I'm actually going to make these for this evening. Well, because they're going to be 2 meals. I'm cooking them at once, but I'm going to be putting one of them into the fridge so we can use another day. So this is the tomato sauce that I always make. I will link the recipe video down below, but it's got like onions, garlic, peppers, carrots, tomatoes, loads and loads of things in there, so that when you come to cook up a bolognese or a lasagna or anything like that, you can just use this as your base with your mince, and you don't need to prep any other veggies. It's so good. I always bulk cook this, so I make at least 3 portions, and it can also just be like a pasta sauce if you want it to be, and things like that. So what I've got here is my pasta sauce. I've got 2 lots of beef mince. I did actually order a 1 kilo one, but this is what they were substituted out with. I have got some lasagna sheets, which I had in my cupboard already. And then I've got these potato croquettes as well. So what these meals are going to become is a sort of cheat shepherd's pie and a lasagna as well. What I'm also going to use up is some flour that I've got in the cupboard, some butter, which I'll show you at the end. Actually, it's my miscellaneous pile. And I'll also just be using some of the milk that I bought too. So for one of the meals, like I said, it's going to be a lasagna. I'll make up a white sauce. I'll cook up all of the beef mince actually, add in all of this sauce as well, and then I'll split the beef mince between the 2 meals. Then obviously with my lasagna, I'll lay up the kind of beef mince, the lasagna sheets, and then I'm going to make a white sauce for it too. Carry on layering it up, and then just top it off finally with some cheese. For the shepherd's pie, this I've shown you before, and it is such a good hack, like a mum hack, cheats hack, whatever you want to call it. You make your shepherd's pie. So again, I'll use the half mince from the big batch that I have cooked up. Pop that into an oven-proof dish and then simply just lay these croquettes on top of there with some cheese on top. And then you just pop those into the oven, and once the croquettes and the whole meal is nice and hot, you can just kind of mash them down, or just, well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I just kind of mash them down a tad with the back of a fork, and they have like puffed out and they spread out quite a lot, covering the whole thing. So instead of having to make mash, which can take quite a lot of time, you have just saved yourself a lot of time and energy. Okay, so this meal is going to become some quinoa bowls. So this can either be a lunch or a dinner. I have got it as one of my dinners to make up the 7 meals. But if we wanted to kind of like have a more simple dinner and then this as our main lunch, then we can do that. That's absolutely fine. So what I've got for this is some quinoa. This is bulgur wheat and a quinoa mix. So what I normally do is I just kind of cook the whole thing up, and then I can keep it in the fridge and just make the bowls quite quickly, because obviously I've got the cooked, like the pre-cooked salmon. I've got some little cherry tomatoes. I've got another tzatziki here and another avocado. I've got some basil and some cucumber as well. You literally just dice everything up, and then you kind of make a kind of tzatziki with olive oil dressing, and then just combine it all together. It's almost like a little bit like a Cheats poke bowl, and it's absolutely delicious. I think this tzatziki just goes so well with everything. It's got so much flavor in there, and yeah, super simple. Probably 5, maybe 10-minute meal, but it's only prep time once that's cooked. And yeah, you're sorted. Quickly on the go. You can also take it into like the office as a lunch if you want to. You can kind of like make it up in advance and then just take each sort of Tupperware with you if you want to. Super easy and so good. So what I've got here is all the things to make a tomato soup for dinner, but I'm also going to make it with some cheese toasties as well. So I'll be using the tiger loaf I showed you at the beginning and the cheese I showed you as well. I actually shared this recipe on my Instagram last week, so I'm going to link my Instagram down below so you can go over and check that out if you haven't seen it already. So what I've done also, because I keep saying, oh, I've got that, I didn't want you to think I was lying. So I got the bits out that I've already got so you can see. So as you can see, I've got so much stock here. I just bulk buy it and then I keep it in here, and then once it sort of runs down, I buy some more. I already had these plum tomatoes. I used half of these sun-dried tomatoes in my last recipe when I made this soup. And I've also got some garlic, and then I forgot to show you the onion that I've also got as well. I've got loads of onions too. So what I bought from the shop just now were these on the vine tomatoes. I think on the vine tomatoes are so much more flavoursome for this meal, so I always get those. And then I also just got some tomato puree. Literally chuck everything along with your onion into a bowl, cook it all up. I sometimes actually add some carrots and a stick of celery to this as well, but I've shown you those before as well, so you know that they're in this shop. Bring it all up to the boil, reduce it, let it simmer till everything's cooked through, and then you blitz it down. And then while you're kind of cooking that through, you want to make your cheese toasty, just some tiger loaf cheese, butter on the outside, make it into a toasty. Once your soup is blitzed, dunk your toasty in and enjoy. Let me show you my miscellaneous pile. So this pile kind of has no rhyme or reason, but it will fit in all these different places. So I've just got some more toothpaste and toothbrushes for the kids. I do want to get them electric toothbrushes, but they went away last week with their grandparents and they came back with no toothbrushes. So I've quickly bought them those in the meantime. I've got some Boursin cheese because this is so versatile. You can add this into pastas to make it nice and creamy. You can also do it with some roasted veggies. There's so many different things you can do with Boursin cheese. I've got some more mayonnaise and ketchup, Lulu some dog treats. I've got some butter, and then I forgot to show you these bits of fruit that I got for our breakfast or lunches. And then I also just like to have some of these bake in the oven bread rolls at home. So if we go and get some sausages from the butchers or something, I can quickly make up a lunch. If suddenly we have like kids coming over unexpectedly, you can just pull these out and cook them straight from frozen, which is great. Right, so that is our food shop for this week. I obviously had a few miscellaneous items in there too, which bumped the food shop up a little bit, but I didn't have any what I like to call big ticket items like toilet paper and bits and bobs like that. So it really was basically £150 spent on our weekly food shop for the week. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you as always for watching, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram so you can see these recipes come to life over there. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.